What is the Enneagram?
Sure. The Enneagram is an ancient personality typing system that teaches there are 9 basic personality styles in the world, one of which we gravitate toward and adopt in childhood, just as a way to cope, to feel safe, to protect ourselves, and to navigate the new world of relationships, right, that we're now encountering. And each of those types really has an unconscious underlying belief that powerfully influences how that type predictably and habitually acts, thinks, and feels from moment to moment on a daily basis.
And you say ancient, where does it come from?
So we believe, right, that the Enneagram's roots can be traced back to the desert mothers and fathers. And Enneagram's roots can be traced back to the desert mothers and fathers in the Christian tradition. There was a well-known monk named Evagrius Ponticus, who actually was, in some ways, responsible for the 7 deadly sins, as we know them now, who began using a primitive form of the Enneagram in spiritual formation with young novice monks, right? So it does have Christian roots. Now, it then branched off into all, as you know, out in the desert of, Syria 1,600 years ago, I mean, there were all kinds of people wandering around. And so, yes, it took circuitous routes. Nobody really wrote about the Enneagram until the 70s. It was something that the Jesuits used, because it had been used in Jesuit retreat centers and on retreats. And people were like, holy smoke, what is this thing? It's so uncannily accurate. It's so accessible. It's so helpful on the spiritual journey. So I try to assuage people's anxieties about it. I tell them it's the Enneagram, not the pentagram. Don't panic, people. It's all right.
Claudio Naranjo actually says in a video on YouTube, he and Ichazo claimed the Enneagram was ancient, and they knew it wasn't ancient at all.
They used to say he had learned it from a very ancient source, from a Sumerian, Babylonians.
We know that
source.
to not be true.
And lately he's been claiming that he got it directly from a higher source, and not from a historical source, from inspiration, from revelation, that is his word.
That's probably closer to the truth.
Yes, I trust it.
Who is Evagrius?
He developed the idea of the 8 evil thoughts, or the 8 deadly sins, which were later shrunken down to 7. What they've done is they've projected the idea that the Enneagram was back there with the origin of the 7 deadly sins. And it wasn't, that's just not true. It's a lie. Evagrius didn't create this. 1969 is sort of probably the first time the 7 deadly sins was attached to the Enneagram.